So I'll keep Scrabble on for a little bit in case you need to answer it still. Almost everybody got it right except one person flipped the numbers around and a couple people didn't put their parentheses in right. Somebody did brackets, and a couple people forgot parentheses.
Was I the one who mixed up the
So,
numbers?
I don't like doing that.
Yeah.
Did I get it
I
wrong?
didn't even put parentheses.
well, it says you're wrong because you didn't put your parentheses.
What, are you kidding?
But that's fine. If you forgot your parentheses, I'll still get your points. Just
Come on, Golf.
It's not gonna look nice.
I caught my mistake, man.
it's fine.
Okay, I'm
All right.
sorry.
So what we are going to be doing today is graphing parabolas, and they're not too bad. So what we're going to do is we're going to graph the function y equals 1/3 x squared. And what we're going to do is make a table of values, and we're going to find the domain range. Get more practice with domain and range. So we are going to start by making a table.
Look at it.
So we have done this before. You guys have done this quite a bit, actually. For today, it is going to be a little different from normal. We are going to go from 0 to 3 for our x. So 0, 1, 2, 3.
That is weird, okay?
Before we did negatives, we're not doing that today. So this is just for today. We're going to go 0 through 3. And what we're going to do is we are going to plug 0 in for our x up here, and we're going to solve it to get our y. So for my first one, we're actually going to use Desmos, but just to remind you what we're actually doing. If I was going to plug it into my first one, I'm going to have 1/3 times 0 squared, and I would solve that. Then I have 1/3 times 1 squared, and so on. Yeah.
Do you have an extra binder?
Wouldn't that be 1 squared?
Ask me after the lesson.
Wouldn't that be 1 squared?
Right here?
1x squared? What about the x?
The x got replaced by...
Okay, can you fix my
Yeah,
pencil?
that is a 1 squared.
No, probably not.
Alright.
No.
So, instead of plugging these in by hand, we are going to use Desmos, and it's going to make it really easy. So I think we've done this before, but I'm not 100% sure. So what we're going to do is we are going to make a table in Desmos. And in my table, it's going to look basically like this up here, except when I plug it into Desmos, instead of having y right here, I'm going to have 1/3x squared.
Oh, really good one, Mackenzie.
I have 1/3x squared. So
That was
let me
funny.
go in here to Desmos. So to start with, we're going to make a table, which you go to this plus sign, and then you go to table. And in this table, you see how it says x1 and y1?
Yeah.
Delete the 1 by x, and instead of y1, we're going to type in what it equals. So it's 1/3, 1 divided by 3. And I got to be careful, because is my x down here by the 3, or is it up higher?
Up higher.
Up higher, right? So I'm going to
Come
have
on, Jace.
1/3 x squared, like this.
Oh, great.
And then over here in my table, on my x's, I'm going 0, 1, 2, and then one more, come on, 3. And it's really nice because it just filled in the second half of my table. So instead of plugging it in individually, the first time I plug in 0, then delete it, then plug in 1. This is all filled in, and don't delete this table because you're gonna use this table for basically all the problems today. And really, after you do it the first time, all you need to do is change this piece right there. All you ever need to do is change that piece right there. So make sure you get this table set up and you got this first one to work, because then you can just delete this and type in new things. So my table, I have 0.3, 1.3, 3. Three threes. So I got 0,
No, I'm blessed.
0.3, 1.3, and then 3. So many 3s.
0.33.
Alright, so what we're going to do is we are going to graph
Did I
this.
do something wrong?
And really quick, I'm going to go through and give me a second because I want to copy this so I don't have to go back and forth. Hey, Jai, come on. Alright, let me move this out of the way. Alright, so I got my table here. I can't look back like you guys can. So, in order to graph this, what we're going to do is we are going to start by graphing these 4 points from this table. So on my graph right here, I'm going to graph 0, 0, 1.3, 2, 1.3, 3, 3 everywhere. Alright, so 0, 0. You guys have done graphing before, I'm not really worried about it. 1.3, right, 1. 0.3, I'm going to estimate right there. 2, 1.3, and then 3, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Actually. Well,
Alright, so I've got a bunch of dots here. Do I have a parabola? What is a parabola supposed to look like?
like that.
Like a U, right? Or
Yeah.
sometimes it's flipped upside down and it looks like a hill, right? So, what I have right now is half of a parabola. So you guys remember the axis of symmetry we talked about yesterday? It's that line that cuts your parabola in half. For today, and this is just for today, your axis of symmetry is always going to be on the y-axis. So, because my axis of symmetry cuts my parabola in half, that means I have this point right here. If I go left 1 to get to my axis of symmetry, and then I go left 1 again, I have that point. That point will be on my parabola. On this one, if I go left 1, 2, I get to my axis of symmetry. If I go left 1, 2 again, I have that point. On this one, if I go left 1, 2, 3, and then left 1, 2, 3 again, I have that point. And keep in mind, just for today, our axis of symmetry will always be on the y-axis. We're going to learn how to do ones that are different later on, but not yet. So, I've got all my dots here. I reflected my dots I got over my axis of symmetry, and now I got a nice parabola shape, but I have to actually go through and make my graph, make my line. Go through like that. Alright. And then last thing, we're going to do our domain and range, which we talked about yesterday. Let's start in the back. Ivory, remember what the domain is for every parabola?
I do. I remember.
Remember, Jace? Which stands for? All real numbers. So every domain is always all real numbers, which we abbreviate as ARN, because that's kind of a pain to write. And then our range is all our y values, right? So I'm going to have y. My very lowest one is 0. And is my graph everything greater than 0 or less than 0?
Greater.
Greater. So I'm going to go y is greater than or equal to 0.
Because why is greater?
Wait, so I'm
Why don't we ever gonna have to do this in life, you know?
It's because it goes exactly, it goes exactly equal to 0. So if it wasn't greater than or equal to, like if this was like 0, your graph would be really close way back.
What? I do like study.
It's kind of yeah. Because it's, just so you know, some graphs you get, they will stop at like x.
Yeah, but that's gotta be
And you get like x is less than 2.
galaxies.
But on this, they're all real. Alright.
I understand side notation.
I did it.
What's I gotta so unique.
Alright, so this is basically all we're doing today. We're going to practice it a little bit. So this time around, we're going to graph the function y equals negative 3x squared, and we're going to find the domain and range. So, because it's negative 3x squared, my table, I'm going to keep a 0, 1, 2, 3. And all I'm going to do, in order to find my other part of my table, is I'm going to just plug this negative 3x squared into Desmos right here. So I'm going to delete this part right here in Desmos and go, come on, delete. Negative 3x squared. And hey, look at that, it's already all filled in.
Wowzers.
Nice. Real snazzy.
Silly donkey.
I like my word, snazzy. Alright, so when I plug in 0, I get 0, 1, negative 3, 2, negative 12, 3, negative 27.
Skip like tens.
Alright, so I got 0, negative 3, negative 12, negative 27. Alright, so we're going to have to go through and graph these, but let's look at this. Do we want to count by ones?
No.
Let's go by threes.
I think it's 3s. I was going to go 5s, but...
Yeah, let's go five.
Five.
It's 5.
It's like, actually, 3s will make it nicer.
27.
3s will actually make
Yeah,
it
let's go
nicer.
by 3s.
So let's go
Let's
by
go by
3s.
27.
So, we're going to go by, not by 27s. If you went by 27, your graph would look like really chubby.
Where'd you come?
Just call me Goki.
No, I'm not gonna make a joke. I was gonna make a joke about Maydo's mom.
No,
I'm not gonna do
no.
it.
Oh! Well, I'm gonna tell her Goki.
Tell her I didn't, cause she's a classy lady.
Good luck, Goki. I'll keep you my prayers.
Psych.
Negative 18.
Why you do that,
Negative 21. Negative 24. Negative 27. Alright. So I've got my y-axis set up there, and we're gonna go through and actually graph this. So I got 0, 0. I have 1, negative 3, and actually Magi's idea is actually pretty good because negative 3 is exactly on that line. And then I have 2, negative 12. Well, negative 12 is exactly on this line. That makes it kind of nice. You don't have to estimate. 3, negative 27 is exactly on
That line.
this line right there. Yeah. Okay. So I've got half my points, but I need to reflect over my axis of symmetry, which for today is my y-axis. You don't have to fill in your axis of symmetry. I try to do it just to make sure you guys all remember that it's right there and that's what we're reflecting over, but you don't have to draw over that if you want to. Alright, and then I gotta go through and reflect. I go left 1, which means I go left 1 again. I got that dot. I go left 1, 2. I go left 1, 2 again. I go left 1, 2, 3. Go left 1, 2, 3 again. And almost done. We're going to connect our dots and make a nice parabola shape.
That's horrible.
That was a bad
That's not you.
hey, I fixed it. Alright. So when we look at this, Gabe, what's our domain? Yeah. All real numbers. Ashlyn, what's my range?
Why?
Yep. Yeah, that's less than. Less than or equal to?
And then 0.
No.
My range, y less than or equal to 0. Because I'm starting here at 0 and everything less than that.
Alright, Goki, give us the homework
Wait,
now.
I thought it was. What?
Not that I'll do it
What, the less than?
Yeah.
Because, okay. Is everything less than 0 have a y, or everything greater than 0?
Kansas took that dub.
What?
What?
Kansas
Sounds
won.
Harvey.
Yes.
Kansas,
Alright.
Kansas beat Penn.
Condescending, man.
What's it called?
Who did? Kansas beat Penn.
No, condescending is?
Yeah, I don't know, spell it.
C-O-N-D-S-C-E-N-D.
Duke's about to freaking crush
Oh, yeah.
Iona.
Condescending would be like, you don't know how to spell condescending.
Goki, spell
It's C-O-N-D-S.
Quit condescending.
Like, it's like you're talking down. Like
I hope Iona comes back and beats
Can we just
Duke.
do our own now?
But they're not gonna. It's not gonna.
Can
Iona.
we just do our own now, Mr. Goki?
Alright.
Iridocyclitis.
Oh, only the question. Alright, you guys want to try another one together, or you want to do one on your own?
Let's do it on our own.
No,
Hey, big
try
ticket.
one together.
I know, but
I'll
let's
knock
not
out
out
Jill.
Wait, I don't know how to do this next one.
Forget that.
Alright.
You gotta walk before you can
Just
look
forget
at
this.
I'll tell you what, here's
No,
what we're going to do.
because
We are
see,
going to
there's
set
two-
up the
there's a
table
plus
on this next one
No,
to make sure you guys got it, then you're going to graph the other part. We're going to do the table, and then we'll just kind of look at it. So, my graph is going to be 2x squared plus 1.
Oh, okay, never mind. I know how to do it.
Alright, so I'm going to go here, delete this. I should actually zoom in. Alright, so 2x squared plus 1. Alright, so for my table, I get 1, 3, 9, 19, right? So I have 0,
Let's go by threes.
1, 2, 3, 1. I can't even remember 4 numbers. 1, 3, 9, 19.
Let's go by fives.
No.
Yes, because there's a 19.
They say we go by 19.
Let's go by fives.
Alright.
I say.
Okay,
we
so when I
go.
graph this one, we're
So
going to
go by
graph
sixes.
half of it. Actually, we'll just graph it really
Which
quick.
can't do 5
It's
million.
not that bad.
Yeah.
Alright, so what do we want to go by?
Fours.
Let's go
Can I
by
count?
five.
19?
27.
Five.
Fours.
Oh yeah.
Twos.
Let's go by 4s.
Yes, let's get it.
So
What's up,
4,
what's up,
8,
What's up,
12. Oh, what
What
happened
is
there?
that?
Well, oh, I don't have it. So, my little tablet thing here, what it does is it takes over my mouse. So if somebody
Are you
goes up
telling your
and jiggles my
subscribers?
desk and it makes my mouse jiggle, it'll jump around.
Jiggle.
Yeah.
And jiggle.
What?
What? What?
What?
You don't like jiggle? if I was like jiggly. You don't like that?
Go, you don't say that.
I do. I had actually in my geometry class I say squiggly. That one's kind of fun.
Goki, don't remember the like octopus head to class for school.
Can't hear what you're saying.
Monday, I mean.
What do you have
Alright,
there? I
so
can't
Come
read
here.
it.
What?
No, I'll tell you now.
Oh, word on Halloween, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Alright, so real quick we'll graph these. So I have 0, 1, then I have 1. Oh, no, I graphed the point wrong, didn't I?
Yeah, why did you do that?
I grabbed 0, 4, not 0, 1.
Here you go, serious.
Terrible. Alright, 0, 1 is like right there.
Yes.
And then I have 1, 3, which is about right there. And I got 2, 9, which is about right there. 3,
Bless you, my
19 is way up here.
I'm not your child.
Alright, reflect. 1,
Bless you, my child.
1, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Bless you, my child.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Alright.
I did it wrong.
Alright, so let's go through. My domain is my easy part, right? Alright, for my range.
Okay, no, I did it
Where's my range going to start?
right.
1. And it's going to be everything greater than or equal to 1, right? So even though this one isn't right in the middle, I still know where this bottom point is. It's at 0, 1, right?
Yeah.
So
Is it max or min?
it'll be max because. Oh wait. No, I'm not.
Min.
Yeah.
So wait, do I go that way?
Yeah, so it'll be like this.
What?
Why is it?
Is this
Hey.
graph okay?
Was this one on
I thought it was
No,
going
I get
down.
it,
two?
sorry.
Also.
Alright, your guys' turn
So
now. I want you to graph 4x squared minus 8 and list the domain and range. And you guys are actually going to put your dots up here, so make sure you do it because we're going to pass the tablet around.
Damn it.
No, not yet.
We're all gonna do it.
I did the X.
You did the exit today?
Tubular, bro.
But not the in class?
Supposed to do the in
Dang, bro.
What?
Not racist, but Asian people.
How?
I kept doing it. I wasn't even doing it.
What? What is it? Minus 8 there for?
Every time it happened.
So you put it in that.
No,
Wait,
I'll show you.
can we go by 4s?
What's your biggest one?
28. That's long.
You can buy 4s.
Really?
I want my fours.
Give you a couple minutes, and I think just about everybody will get a chance to answer this, so make sure you're actually doing it.
You know, are you kidding me?
Is it possible to get a negative in here?
Wait,
Or just got a negative?
Oh, yes.
8, 4, 8. What? Oh.
God damn it. I forgot to go by like 4s or something.
Start labeling your
That's 28 divided by 8.
Okay, so
Ah, you can't do that.
Careful, you're going by 4s here. You still have to go by 4s down here. So that'll be -4, -8. Now we're at 0, -8. And 1, -4.
Good job.
Are you done?
Keep going.
Did you go by 4s?
Wait, Mr. Logan, so would it be like that?
Why
Since
is
it starts?
Yep. It would be. You are correct.
Can I
Good,
wait,
but
that's right here.
is this the number?
Wait, when are we gonna do this?
That's actually a good question. So, just to give you guys a heads up for the rest of the quarter, which is just next week, we are going to
Does that mean
do,
I got turned into assignments?
we're going to do like 2 more lessons, and then we're going to take like a mini It'll be more of a quiz, not really a test, a quiz. And then we'll have like a mega 4K for next week. So that's what the rest of this quarter is gonna look like.
Nice,
I'll
bro.
come on the
What's the
calendar
range?
for if it's
Because it has negatives and positives.
What do you mean?
Okay,
For
so
next
your
what?
range is just you do
Dude,
y
cause that's
and
what
then
summer
you do
break
the
is.
lowest
Yeah.
point. So
We're just gonna go with summer break.
Yeah, for next quarter,
depending
whenever
on
school
what
ends,
one
it's the end of the quarter.
Like the last day of school.
Yeah, that's the end of the quarter.
This was a very fun school year.
Yeah, half of
The
the
maximum is
last day of
28.
school.
Kalki, this
Yeah.
year went by
No,
fast.
okay.
In the world.
Oh wait, you didn't do yesterday's lesson card. Here, look at this.
Man, I put my sick beats into my bag.
So depending on which way the arrow's going, it
No.
makes it a maximum.
Do you have to get up to do it?
So this would be minimum.
So we're gonna have half a day of work.
But I'm just trying to respect the rules, Kalki.
Wait,
what's going on?
Is
The last day of school is a
zero,
half
but
day.
it's a maximum.
Woo!
What day is that?
Yeah.
Is that?
So it's less than.
Oh, it doesn't
Still have
really
a,
matter,
we
'cause
have an
it's
entire
Saturday.
quarter.
Or-
I don't know why you guys are
loves
not
it.
equal to.
It's
It's
weeks
June
before?
7th.
It would be.
I need some help, Goki.
9.
I wish I had.
Do we have school
I
on
think I
June
did this
5th?
wrong.
Goki? No, well, like, I don't want that. Goki, we have to still
Wait, I'll tell you. Stop. Hold on.
At this point, the luxury it's not a 4K, so there's no 0, 0. Oh, yeah, so it should be 0.
No,
Okay, that's
June
So
7th.
just almost over a little bit. So 0
Marvin
negative.
Bagley has 14
1
points in the
negative
first
4.
half.
That one over before.
Your birthday.
That's what happened.
56
We're right.
39.
Those two were just.
Mr. Goki, can I go bathroom, please?
Not yet.
No. Okay, I did the exit ticket by accident.
Moses, who's playing right now?
What?
Who's playing?
What? South Dakota, Ohio,
Loyola.
Chicago,
Illinois.
Miami, and
Chicago.
Duke and Iona.
Who's playing between Duke and Ireland?
Obviously do.
All right.
I know.
So we
Iona.
are not going to go over this because as I walked around, everybody got it right.
Are you sure?
Except Adelia, you didn't reflect.
Stupid computer won't let us watch live.
Silly, Dilly.
Wait. Oh my god, dude.
Mr. Goki.
Well, all you do, Adelia.
This is dumb, Goki.
All right.
For homework, are we
This
grabbing?
game starts at 4:27.
Office.
What did we do today? Nothing but crap.
All
All right, nice job, guys. As I walked around, everybody got it right.
Except for
Maybe a few
Adelia.
tweaks here and there. I wasn't going to be mean about it, but thanks, Magi. Hey,
Where's
this is
that?
going to get the homework done, but not Magi.
Oh, good one, Goki.
All right. Start on your exit ticket. So, for this exit ticket, because it's graphing, in about 5 minutes, I'm going to walk around and just look at your stuff and see who's got their stuff done.
Cool.
So, it's not unsecrated because it's graphing. I'm going to check in about 5 minutes. Don't put it up here.
So we're not answering on Sakata.
Can you put it
No.
up
Here,
already?
Goki, look, I
At all?
No, in 5 minutes.
Look
Just
at
hang
mine.
on to it.
Okay, at all?
I'm already